Well, we're excited about the class. First and foremost, I think we've got our top two recruits in being able to keep Todd Grantham and Garrick McGee here, which was really exciting for me. They both had opportunities to go other places and leave, and because of the support of Tom Jurich and what he wants to compete, at what level he wants to compete, we were able to keep both guys here, which was really great for our program. To be able to have the continuity, to be able to finish the recruiting class off right, it was very vital to keep both of them here. So that was two of our very most recruits that we needed. I'm real proud of our assistant coaches. I thought they did a great job. It was a long process. You know, it basically started last year when we first got here. It was great to have 1 year to put the class together, but you still felt a little bit behind, you know, because we didn't really know the sophomores or the freshmen. So they did a good job in 1 year in building relationships and going everywhere to find recruits. I think we have 9 different states, recruits from 9 different states. So obviously we had to go and find a lot of good players. I think we did a good job of addressing our needs. When you look on offense, we needed to replenish an offensive line that had 3 seniors, and we've got 5 recruits on the offensive line in this class. We also lost the 5 senior wide receivers, and we've got 6 wide receivers in this class, plus Jaquay Williams, who is already here on campus, and all of them, with the exception of Travion Samuel, are 6'3" and above. And that was one of the things we really wanted to try to do with our class, is to get taller, bigger, longer, and faster. So I'm really excited about the group. You know, we already have 8 players on campus that are working with our team now. I believe all 8 of them will contribute. They're a good-looking group, and they've been working hard in the weight room and conditioning, doing a good job in the classroom, so we're excited about that. Defensively, you know, we had to fill some needs in the secondary when we had some guys come out early, and to be able to get 3 recruits in this class and add to that, you know, Shaq Williams and Josh Harvey Clemens gives us 5 new guys in the secondary, so that was something that was real important. We felt like we lost some really good pass rushers off the edge. So we got 2 young freshmen and a junior college transfer to help us rush the quarterback from off the edge, which was really important for us. And to add that to a great group of inside guys and linebackers coming back, I think will really help, you know, our defense. We also were able to get a couple really good players inside that now can back up and develop as the 2 seniors finish off their career. And we feel like those 2 seniors are great players. So I'm excited about the class. I look forward to it. You know, the one thing that came up about the gray shirting, you know, gray shirting is part of recruiting. It's not one of the most favorite parts of it, but what a gray shirt is when you ask a young man to not start school until January and to delay their admissions until January. And I've been on both sides of it. You know, we're fortunate to be on one side of it this year where Lorenzo Malden is here because he was asked a gray shirt, and then you have a decision to make. Do I stick and sit out of school for a semester, or do I look for another place to go? And Lorenzo was here because he looked for another place to go. We also had a guy when I was at Arkansas that was asked by Alabama to gray shirt. He didn't want to do that. He came to Arkansas. He'll be in the draft this year. So it is part of the recruiting process. And it's really not the issue. The issue is how the coach responds to it. So that's my take on the gray shirt. But other than that, I'll just open up to questions.
The issue of transfers, you got a lot of junior college guys. Were there just that many holes to fill right away, or what was the thought about it?
Yeah, it was a big senior class, and we'll have a small senior class next year. So when you recruit a junior college player, you're basically going out and doing it for a need, for a position where you think they can come in and play right away and contribute right away, and you don't feel like you have time really to develop guys already on your team to fill that role. So, you know, when you look at the junior college players that we took, we feel like they'll all contribute next year.
You mentioned the needed offensive line. How do you feel like you address that, and which one of these guys do you see contributing first?
Well, we have Khalil Hunter on campus, and Khalil's a guy that's very, very athletic, does a great job of moving and run blocking. Pass protection will be a little bit new to him. The offense that he played in, they ran the ball a lot. They were more of an option team, so he's going to have to learn and develop on pass protection, but he's the size and athletic ability that you like. The group that we have coming in, what I like is the combination of size and athletic ability. You know, we got two big guys that we feel like can really play the tackle spot and pass pro and run block. And then we've got two guys that we feel like inside can compete at the strong guard position, which John Miller played this year. Strong guard for us is one of the toughest positions on the offensive line because most of the time you're going against the biggest defensive linemen that they have and the most athletic. So you have to block the big three techniques that we call it. So with the size and strength of the guys that we got there, and in Chandler Jones, you know, is a perfect example of someone that's big enough and athletic enough to play that position.
Devontae Fields, I mean, he's a guy, I mean, it's not every day where you get to sign a Defensive Player of the Year from another P5 conference. What kind of expectations do you have for a guy like that?
Well, we expect him to come in and play right now. You know, I think that's one of the reasons he had a high interest in us is because of what Coach Grantham has done with everybody that's played that position. When Todd goes back and goes through the guys that he's coached that play that position and the production that they've had, including Lorenzo this year, you know you're going to come in and you're going to be able to scheme ways to get one-on-one matchups and be able to get to the quarterback and have production. So I think it really played into the recruiting there of what style defense that we play and also the relationship with Todd.
How excited is Todd to get somebody like that?
Yeah, it was definitely a need for us. We got a couple young kids too that are going to develop and grow into it. So I think that's the other thing we're excited about in Bonner and Grinnard, the two guys that are tall, lengthy, and have great burst.
With the 6 wide receivers, when you throw Jamari in there as a transfer, I mean, have you ever, the classes you've brought in, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid, like probably one of the best in the country. Is that kind of your assessment?
I feel like it is, yeah. I mean, I really do. I think that what we were looking for, obviously, is you have to have somebody come in and try to get the production of Parker. You know, I don't know if we'll be able to do that with one guy, but all through the fall and practice and in the bowl practice, Jaquay Williams is a really talented guy that can compete. He's strong, he's physical, but we knew that we needed, you know, more than that. Paul Harris is a guy that's big, very, very athletic, went to Tennessee out of high school, went to the junior college last year and redshirted, so he'll have 3 for 3. He did have a hamstring issue, so we're really working hard on his flexibility and making sure everything's good there. Jamari is a guy that I had recruited before to play safety. I think in the history with Garrick and I, it's the only recruit Garrick ever beat me on because he was right down the street. And he went and played receiver in this offense and was very, very productive. And he's got a great stride, great get off. He can catch the ball in his hands away from his body, you know, and really make plays there. We're excited about Travion Samuel being here. He's a little bit different style than all the rest of the guys in the fact that he's a runner. We can put him in motion, hand him the ball. He can take a 6-yard gain and turn it into a 80-yard touchdown. Something that we felt like we were missing a little bit last year, that short throw and long run. So I'm excited about him. And then when you look at Amani Spence coming in, you want to wait till you see his stride and his ability to control his body. Devontae Pete, you know, when we have this signing party, there's going to be some clips on there that look very similar to Parker and his ability to elevate and control his body and turn and catch the ball away from it in his hands. So it's an exciting group of receivers, and we can't wait to get them here and get going.
Bobby, how much of your need is now? I mean, how many, I know it's early, obviously, but of the 25 guys, how many do you see possibly playing early?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question and a real hard one to answer as far as how many of them will be playing. But the one thing that we do try to do is make sure all of them prepare to come in and play. You know, from the minute they sign today, we start doing things on the phone, what we can send them so they can study and learn, and starting to prepare them to play right away. The 8 guys that are here, they're going to need to contribute, and they'll be ahead because they get to go through all the winter program and spring football, you know, so they're definitely ahead. But, you know, it's hard for me to imagine the offensive linemen playing, you know, as much as they think they're going to, just because I think that's the hardest transition, is going from a high school offensive lineman to a college offensive lineman. It's just hard. You know, some of the best athletes in the world right now are playing on the defensive line.
What was the last 48, 72 hours like for you guys as Auburn and Florida and Miami and Florida State and all these other people were coming after?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. We were up late last night. You know, there was I think there was a text came in to my phone at 12:00 something last night, and got a new phone, and you plug it in, and all of a sudden it makes this new noise when a text goes off that goes beep beep. So like I jump out of bed, and the first thought is, oh, that's not good news, you know. But it actually was Todd Grantham texting me that I think we're going to be all right. Gigi says that, you know, we're going to hold on to it. So I felt good about that. I'm happy that I have bad eyes, because I saw the little emoji things or whatever they call them. I didn't know what the heck they were, but came in this morning and I said to Todd, and he said that those are teardrops. You know, like he was crying over the decision that he had to make. I said, oh, good. I'm glad I couldn't see him. I would have never got any sleep. But I think Todd was up till 3 a.m. working on it. And then when you get in the office early this morning, you know, with Lamar Thomas and working on Lamar Jackson, and really the schedule got fouled up. You know, it was supposed to be there early, get there 7:30 a.m., get signed, and here we go, you know. So I felt good about the schedule we had going in. All of a sudden he's not at school. All of a sudden he's not answering his phone, and he's in the state of Florida. So we're going, okay, what's going on here? But he had to go pick up his mother from work. She wanted to come home, shower, and change. So the timetable was completely different than what we thought. So then you're not sure, you know. And he was pretty good about it. He was always, I'm solid, that's where I'm going. But in the back of their mind, you're thinking, yeah, why is it not happening yet? You know, so those were probably the 2 most interesting ones to have to hold on to, you know. And I think it was real strong to hold on to Gigi, because his father, you know, was a great player at Auburn. They have a street named after him there. And, you know, you're kind of thinking, you know, why is he not going there? And again, I think it came down to what style of defense we're going to play. He wants to play on defense, and, you know, his relationship with our coaching staff.
Basketball's got an early signing period. There's been a lot of talk the last few years, guys getting pulled in 100 directions. Do you favor, will this help solve the problem to go to an early signing period like that?
Yeah, that's always a question for me, you know, because we have to leave our state to get a number of our players. You know, I've always felt like an early signing period favored the people where kids can start coming to their campus when they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors. They can drive and travel. And, you know, we have to do a great job in spring and the summer of talking guys to come to campus and see us and all the early commitments. So I've always not favored it because of that, because of our location. And, you know, we don't have all of the players that they have in the state of Florida and all the players they have in the state of Georgia. So I thought early signing period would benefit the schools that were closer to the population of where the most players are from.
You mentioned Fields, and he was available because he got dismissed at TCU. What, in the process of vetting him, what convinced you to take a chance on him?
Well, it was a long process. You know, we've had a relationship with him this entire football season and went through everything. Went from speaking with Gary Patterson, his ex-coach at TCU, to every coach on their staff at Trinity, working hard with his mother and really understanding. I think we have a really good understanding of what went on, what happened, talking with the attorneys and really knowing that. We felt comfortable that, number one, there was absolutely no gun there. and that it's a misdemeanor charge, and that I've been instructed that that's all I can say about it until it's over with. But we feel good about how the outcome's going to come. Sitting down and visiting with the young man, he understands what our expectations are and what he's going to be, the standard he's going to be held to when he's here on campus, and he embraces that. You know, there was some thoughts early that he maybe was going to go right into the NFL. There were NFL scouts at his practice, but it was important for him to come back and go to a major 4-year college and be a student and an athlete. And he sold us on that, and I feel like he earned the scholarship.
So many people talk about the issue of second chances with this young man, but there's been people on both sides of the fence. Just as a general rule of thumb about giving players second chances, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I believe in second chances and sometimes third chances. Every one of them is on an individual basis. You know, guys on our own team, guys you go out and recruit, you know, you do it on an individual basis, and you do your research and you try to make sure that if you have an opportunity to give a young man a second chance, I believe that you should do it. You know, some of the funnest phone calls for me are when guys come back to the spring game, or the relationships that I have with ex-players are when they, you know, talk about, hey, you know, the second chance you gave me, and now I have my degree, I have a job, and I can take care of my family. So those are some of the fun success stories that there are.
There's obviously some hard feelings in South Carolina. Can you address the Matt Colburn situation? Was he mistreated or misled?
Well, obviously, like I said about the gray shirting, that the process is that you ask a young man, you don't take a scholarship away. You ask him to delay his admission to come in and go to school in January, and they have a decision make when you ask them that. Like a young man down in Alabama that Alabama just asked to, his decision was, I'm going to stick to it and come in January, not try to find another place to go. So,
More time to make that decision?
I mean, that's always the hardest part, is the timing on it. And this is the one time as a college coach that you get to try to manage your roster. And you have to try to find out what the balance is between each position. And, you know, we were in the position there where we felt like the best thing for us to do was try to get one of our recruits to gray shirt and fill the roster with the other positions that we felt were more important.
Did you ask others to gray shirt, or was he this?
He's the only one this year, but we have in years past, and we've had guys that have gray shirted and come in at mid-year.
Oh, you were talking about with Lamar and also with GG. Are those wins that you get? I mean, it's not like a win on the field, but how pumped up do you guys get in the office when you do something like, especially because it was Auburn and you know, in schools like that you Florida interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, we get real excited about it, you know, and all of our coaches are very, very competitive, and the way you compete in practice, the way you compete on the field is exactly what you do in recruiting, you know, and you know, one of the things that I think my son said to me last night, because he saw that I was nervous and in, you know, kind of a different mood, is he said, Dad, we have a really good class. You know, we got a lot of really good class, but you want every one of them. You know, you don't want to miss on any of them. So our coaches just did a great job of, number one, developing a relationship with the players, with their parents, with the people that were helping them make the decision. We got them on campus. They love the city of Louisville. They love the University of Louisville. And we were able to hold off some very traditionally strong programs. But that's where we're at now. You know, now we're in the ACC. We've got to go out and compete against all those schools and understand that we're going to win some, we're going to lose some, but we have to compete against them.
What about the running backs that you brought in? Talk about those guys.
Well, Jeremy Smith is a guy that we actually found late in the first semester. You know, we didn't go out and seek out a junior college running back, but all of a sudden we have a guy that's responsible, Court Dennison, one of our graduate assistants, to really look and scour the country for some of the best players. He found Jeremy out in Fresno, California, contacted him. He had a very strong interest. He has family in Louisiana, had some ties here to Louisville. We were able to get him on a visit. It wasn't a long visit. It actually was a one-day unofficial visit. The next day he was going to Alabama for an official visit, and we ended up getting him. And he's the big back that you want. You know, right now he's 220 pounds. He actually looks smaller than when he stepped on campus because his body's changing a little bit. He's thinning up in the hips, and he's a little bit faster than when he first got on campus. So we're excited about his, his growth potential and his ability to get better while he's here. You know, he's got 4 years to play 3. So that is another reason that we were very interested in him. And then James Allen is a dynamic back. I mean, he's a guy that anytime he touches the ball, he has the ability to go the distance and score, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can make people miss. You know, he's a guy that he excites you when you watch his video, and he continually does it, makes those plays over and over again against a very fast conference in Florida.
Bobby, when you see Lamar Jackson in your offense, what do you envision?
Well, the one thing I was really impressed with Lamar was his ability to throw the ball. You know, obviously what jumps out you initially off the tape is how well he runs and how fast he is and his ability to make people miss. But what I liked was we don't have to coach a lot with his upper body on his release. You know, he holds the ball the way we like it. He separates his hands the way we like it. And he's got great arm strength and was very accurate throwing the ball, particularly the deep ball. You know, so I think the biggest thing with Lamar is going to be able to come in and see how quickly he can learn and understand what we're asking him to do and compete to get on the field. You know, I think that was what was impressive last summer with Reggie Bonifan, was how quick a learner he was. And that put him in a position to compete for the job in August when we started practice. So that's what our goal is for Lamar, is to get himself in a position to compete for playing time in August.
You've coached a lot of pro running backs. Does Smith remind you of any of those guys?
You know, they're all so different, but he's a big, powerful guy, has really good vision, does a good job of using his blockers, you know, hugging what Coach K calls hugging the wall, which is getting into the blockers and making the defense stay where they are and then separating, and so that jumps out at you.
Is the class done, or you need any?
I think we're done, yeah.
One more for Jody. Do you change anything you do with recruiting? I mean, last year you talked about, okay, this is new this year. I mean, and you sent Garrick out everywhere to find the best players. Do you tweak anything?
We might. You know, what we're going to do is sit down. It'll be Tuesday, and go through a total evaluation of everything that transpired on the road, what areas we went to, all the players that came in on visits, what we did on our visits, and then we'll see where we go and if we change any of the areas that our guys have. You know, did we get much out of the national recruiting? You know, so we'll evaluate everything and then decide. One more.
What did Gary Patterson have to say about Devontae?
You know, Gary said that he was a really good kid. He loved the kid, is what he basically said. He said, I love the kid. Obviously had an issue there. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay in school there.
All right, guys?
Thank you.
Our assistant coaches will be available in the back.